Heyo guys, welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys our first impressions of the new album from Atreyu titled Baptize. So Atreyu is one of those bands that does have a lot of history. They were kind of like one of the metalcore bands of like the late 2000s, but I'm going to be honest, I have literally never listened to them. Now, maybe I've heard a song or two here or there and I didn't know, but I do not recall like sitting down and putting on any Atreyu. So checking this album out is really going to be like a first impression of the band for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've actually seen Atreyu live at a festival. I didn't go to see Atreyu, but I'm pretty sure they played. But other than that, I really, like you, have basically no exposure to this band. So I do know they got a relatively large fan base. They've been around for a while, like TV Fisher said. But they kind of just flown just under my radar, I guess. We've been told we don't do enough metalcore on the channel, so this is, pumping that up a little bit, throw that in there. So, as always, I'm excited. I'm hopeful that I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm going in with, I guess decent expectations, just because they've been around for so long and have such a big fan base.
We're both kind of a blank slate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really have any, like, high expectations, but of course I'm not expecting it to be bad. I'm just kind of pretty neutral, and I guess that's a good way to be.
Yeah, I think just based on the fact that they've been around so long and they got so many fans, that's got my hopes up a bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's a bad thing, I don't know. But anyways, we'll find out.
Well, we'll see how it turns out. We're going to check out Baptize for the very first time in its entirety, and we'll be right back to give you guys our first impressions, so stay put. Alright, so we just listened to Baptize for the very first time. Vile, what do you think?
Started out great. I actually was digging this album for the first half up to song 7, I would say, maybe song 8. I was really digging it, giving pretty favorable scores to the songs, writing a lot of notes about different things I was enjoying. And then the album just took a crap on me. Like, songs 9 through 15 were just blah. It just seemed like padding and filler and, I've heard this already. What's this? Like, honestly, what a shame that is to me, because I was digging it so much. And I was like, I don't know, it had a lot going for the first half. And it just fell off. For me,
I feel pretty similar. Like, the first half, that first chunk had some really good stuff, but as it went, I kept thinking to myself, like, is this over yet? I feel like I've heard everything they have to offer at this point.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like there was a lot of cool ideas in this album. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Awesome, and it sounded great.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where it's like, okay, that's it. Like, they just keep kind of repeating themselves.
Yeah.
And it's weird to consider, because in the second half of the album, there are 3 features. 3 completely different features. Mm-hmm. You got Travis Barker, you got Matt Heafy, and you got Jacoby Shaddix. Jacoby.
Papa
Roach. Which is interesting. Like, those are, very radically different sounding features. But the songs are alright, I guess. That's one thing I kept kind of finding with the second half, that everything was just, like, very okay, very, like, well, it's not bad, but it's not really that great. And I think a big part of it is because, like, they kind of played their whole hand, and then they kept dropping the same cards over and over. And it's a good hand. These are some pretty good cards. But when you've seen, the Ace of Diamonds, like, that many times already, it stops being special. Yeah. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the highlights. My highest rated track was track number 4, ironically titled Underrated. Mean song out the gate. There's a sick shot. This song, to me, perfectly gives an example as to how good the vocal variety is on this album. Mm-hmm. There are other tracks that have really wild vocal variety, crazy harshes, crazy cleans, like really all over the place. But I think in Underrated, it flows perfectly. And I mentioned that to you as we were listening, because you have the track before that, Baptize and Save Us, which have that as well. I feel like it is a little bit like kind of crazy with how it's managed, but in Underrated, I think that's managed perfectly, and that really makes it stand out to me, like, as the best track on the album. Mm-hmm. But other songs, they have cool shots, they have great riffs. That's one thing I kept writing a lot earlier on in this album. Ooh, that's a great riff. That's a good riff. And I'm thinking, okay, this is one of those albums where it's very riff central.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, as it went on, it stopped feeling special, but that first chunk of songs really felt super strong.
Yeah, I feel the same way about a lot of what TV Fish just said. And, you know, I talk a lot about on this channel about, you know, oh, this album seems like it was thrown together, and this album seems like it's got no passion behind it. I felt the opposite about this. I felt like, even though this band's been around for a long time, like we mentioned, I don't know how many albums they got under their belt, but I'm sure they've written a lot of music in their time. This still felt like, at least the first half, that they put passion into this, that they put a lot of thought, a lot of creativity into there, and really, really cared about producing quality music. That's what I was getting from it. Except the second half falls flat. But I'm going to stop saying that because I've said it 5 times already. Underrated was also one of my top rated tracks, as well as Dead Weight, which is track 7, and Baptize, which was track number 2, the title track. So Baptize has a really cool kind of stop and go element to it, which is really cool. So it's like high energy, the heavy, awesome riff like TV Fish said, and then it would stop and get mellow. Then go back to that, then go back to that, and kind of back and forth, stop and go.
I wasn't sure what to think of that, because I'm like, I don't mind it, but I don't know if like I'm a huge fan of it. However, it's still a really solid song. Like, I like the song anyway.
Yeah, I liked it because of that kind of uniqueness. But overall, it still has a very poppy sound to it. Any one of these songs could be on the radio. Yeah. Let's just throw that out there.
Not necessarily a problem.
Not a problem, because they still have that element to them that gives them that kind of edge. And there's a lot of edge.
Even then, there's a lot of interesting things in these songs anyway. They don't sound like generic songs, at least for the first chunk of the album. And near the end is when they start to feel a little bit generic. However, the first chunk, like, it feels super fresh, and it's nice.
Yeah. And what was the other song? Dead Weight was the other song that I wanted to talk about. Very cool vibes with this song. It's got a really thick bass. You know, a lot of bass presence in this song, which stands out. The vocal performance on this song specifically, the whole album's got really great vocals, but this song specifically, really great voice. He does some really cool runs with his voice, which is not something you hear a lot in metal or associated genres. It's such a shame that second half. I don't want to keep crapping all over it, but I'm looking at my notes here and I'm seeing my scores, how they just go down, down, down. I'm like, oh man, that sucks. I felt like I was drawing a lot of parallels to Avatar listening to this. Stylistically very similar, structurally very similar. Sound-wise, not quite so much. Great use of gang vocals, I will say, in a lot of the songs. It's not overdone, it's done very tastefully, and that's something that you hear Avatar do from time to time as well. So there's little things like that. I was drawing parallels. There was another band, I'm trying to see if I wrote a list. I mean, if I wrote it was track number 6 called Weed. It sounded like Danko Jones to me. But that's whatever, I digress a little bit on that. Overall, I'm in the middle right now. I'm in the middle because I liked the first half, didn't like the second half. The first half, throughout the week as we listen to this album more, the first half could get boring and annoying to me. Or the second half could grow on me and amaze me. I have no fucking clue what's going to happen this week.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty similar. Like, that first half, really, really good. That second half kind of just, But, I mean, listening to it over and over and over, like, you said it best. Like, either side could flip. We got no idea. So we're going to go and find out and listen to this album over and over and over and over throughout the entire week. And we'll be back next week to give you guys our final review of Baptize. So that's all we got for you guys today. Remember to like the video if you liked it. Comment, tell us in the comments below, do you like this album? It is brand new. These guys, I guess, don't really make albums as much as they used to, perhaps. Is it as good as the old stuff? Let us know. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm TV Fish.
I'm Vile Self.
And we'll see you guys later.